Hello and welcome to the Changemakers channel, where we discuss the people who are change making in our world and impacting the world for better. Now, this usually means going against the grain and speaking up or standing up for the change that is so important and so needed in the world. And today I'm absolutely delighted to be welcoming Belinda Stark, who's no less than a powerhouse of resilience and reinvention, having fought and overcome breast cancer, experienced depression, and redefined her relationship with alcohol, embraced profound personal growth, emerging stronger, more optimistic, and deeply inspired to help others. So she's a woman of my own heart, absolutely, but a very, very different story. And professionally, Belinda is a former high stakes PR and event manager with elite sports teams, and she turned her career around and went into retail and e-commerce fashion entrepreneurship, and today is now helping midlife women reclaim their purpose and vitality as an alcohol and empowerment coach. Belinda's inspiring journey and expertise have been featured in Mamma Mia, Women's Day, and more. And she's the host of her popular podcast, now in its fourth season. So get ready for an uplifting and encouraging conversation about transformation and vibrant living. Thanks so much for being here today, Belinda.
Thanks, Lee. It's lovely to be here and see your happy, smiling face.
Well, I would love to hear more because, you and I met some time ago, and I feel like I don't know. I'd like to hear more about your journey to becoming a person who's helping midlife women reclaim their lives as an alcohol and empowerment coach, because, alcohol is a funny thing. We have this very strange, complex relationship with it in our culture, I believe. And I myself have gone through these periods of, I can remember in my grief journey going totally off alcohol, which is probably strange. And then at other times being off it, and I'm always so much better for it. And then sometimes we'll swing back again. I would love to hear about your journey to becoming a women's empowerment and alcohol coach, and more about alcohol.
Yeah, well, I never expected to fall into this. I addressed a drinking issue, a grey area drinking issue myself just over 2 years ago, and it basically changed my life. If I'm very honest with myself, I have had a problem with alcohol on and off for over 20 years. Probably started when I went through my divorce with my first husband. Anyway, I got sober, no rock bottom, no nothing like that. I was just drinking too much every night, and I was putting it in like the first priority in my life. So if it was time to pick up kids after school or whatever, like, take them to 6 o'clock sport, I tried to get out of that because my 5 p.m. wine drinking time was the biggest priority. So I stopped. I just sort of had enough. I'd had tried to stop in the past, but this was the moment. And because it was so transformative, and I got a coach when I was stopping. I just changed as a person. I found myself again. I found out why was I numbing myself? Why was I doing this? I got curious, hence that sober curiosity is the lingo. But
Love
you
it.
do, you get curious and you think, why? And there's a lot more. The drink is sort of the band-aid for something a bit deeper. And if you're willing to look at that, what's happened and why you've been doing it, it's hard, but it's so beneficial. Like your life changes, everything's better. And then I thought, well, I really would love to be a coach, not really thinking about alcohol at that time, just knowing that I'd been through breast cancer, addressed the drinking issue, depression, ran a couple of businesses, what have you. And it really interests me. And because I'd been in therapy and what have you, I sort of dealt with all the stuff, but the coaching part is when you're ready to move forward and plan things and, move forward. It's the exciting
Yeah.
part. It's the fun part. We've done all the
Yes.
things,
Yeah.
and I've witnessed it and felt it myself. I love to help other women have that too. And I was just asked constantly after finishing my studies, so how did you do it? What did you do? Oh, I wish I could do it. And the media, all the media really, really wanted to know about the drinking. And so I fell into being pretty much a sober coach, an alcohol and mindset coach. And
Oh, it
that's where
makes
I
so
am
much
today.
sense.
Yeah, it does. Mm,
Yeah, and I can see like you obviously have that core part of you that really loves to help people.
mm,
And you're now able to really share that knowledge and all that wisdom that you gathered along the way. And
mm,
you certified and qualified and you've done all the things. And this is probably very timely because people, New Year's, they
mm,
not only wake up with a hangover, maybe even a couple of days later, but
mm,
they set resolutions and things like that often around alcohol, don't they? They want to change their
mm.
lifestyle. Does that ever work for people?
Oh, look, I'm not a fan of resolutions, full stop. I think that you know when you know. And I often find with these resolutions, it's too much. It's like, I'm going to quit alcohol. I'm going to quit sugar. I'm going to
Mm,
quit carbs. I'm going to drink more water. And you're just setting yourself up for failure,
yeah,
really. So
yeah.
to me, it's going a bit deeper and really doing the work.
Mm,
So it's important. I mean, great for people that set them, but being consistent. And that's where coaching helps too, to
yeah.
have that accountability and keep you moving. Because like, well, we're in the mid to late-ish Jan now. So yeah, this is when people tend to peter off. You
Yeah,
go gung-ho and then
yeah.
you fade. Mm.
I love what you said about sober curiosity because it must have been interesting for you with what you were going through when you kind of sort of hit the wall with the decision, this is it, oh, it's going to happen.
Mm.
And I would love to hear if that's common from what you've come to know for people to not go cold turkey, or maybe it was cold turkey, but to make
Mm.
that sudden flat decision. And
Mm.
then what did you start to discover about yourself? Or maybe it's easier to talk about what people generally can
Mm.
discover about
Mm.
themselves by becoming sober curious.
I didn't go cold turkey. I don't
Mm,
believe in that either.
yeah.
For me, like I looked up courses and different things, and all of them required you to go full stop bang. That
Mm,
to me, and I know for my women, it's too overwhelming. It's too much pressure.
yeah.
So let's just do small steps, but consistent steps. And what I did was I slowly started to peter it off. So I'd drink half to three quarters of what I normally
Mm,
would drink, then peter it off and off and off. And at the same time, fully immerse myself in sober curiosity books, podcasts, everything.
wow.
And then I just stopped. And I really only set myself 6 months. But by that stage, the benefits were so good that I didn't want to go back to drinking. I didn't want to miss out on the benefits of not drinking. So with my ladies, yes, they do. They might have they don't have to stop. They don't have to stop completely
Mm,
ever. If they just want to cut back, that's awesome. But it's
mm,
keeping cut back. So having that drink, if they just set a goal for I just want to drink Fridays, Saturdays, not
mm,
binging, but Fridays, Saturdays, I want to drink.
yeah.
And that's fine. So we'll work for that goal. So that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
And yeah, but it's getting curious. Sober curiosity is getting curious, experimenting. And what I like about sober curiosity is again the fact that you don't have to completely stop. You don't have to say, I'm stopping forever. I'm not saying that about myself. I might have a drink one day.
Mm.
I don't know. Currently, no, I don't. So, it's not putting that pressure on yourself. And that
Oh,
definitely helps.
I totally agree because curiosity is something that probably only a couple of years ago I really discovered enables us to explore something that's difficult, but
Mm.
we're not asking for 100% immediately.
Mm. Well, it's not being hard on ourselves. It's
Yeah.
talking to ourselves and saying, hey, Belinda, let's just get curious about this. It's a nice word. It's a
It's so
self-loving word.
welcoming.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm,
I love that because that tendency to be harsh on ourselves, that's one path, isn't it? Yeah, it's one
mm,
option. And I love this conversation about opening up the options. There's other ways, and
mm,
curiosity is much more accessible. And even it feels a bit childlike, the word, because
mm.
there's no big pressure. Like when a kid's learning to walk, they can fall down, get up, fall down,
Yeah,
get up. Doesn't
same
matter.
thing. Yeah, same thing. Yeah, we can learn a lot from our kids.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you think, like the common pitfalls or problems for midlife drinking or midlife women can be? Because it's one of the biggest groups, isn't it?
We are the largest demographic of women, and it keeps rising that overdrink. So, not alcoholics, overdrink, grey area drinking.
Right.
And I think, well, and it's proven that women are doing so much juggling. You've got elderly parents, you may be empty nesters, you've got things happening in your career, you may have been with your partner for a long time, and it's not, you're struggling
Mm.
to get back to that point
Yep.
together where you were. You're sort of falling away from each other. You might be going through a divorce. There's so many things. Menopause, like it's like chicken and egg thing. I'll have a drink because I just need to feel better and less anxious. But then what happens is you wake up and you're more anxious from where you started. So women, they are over drinking because they want to escape. They are bored
Mm.
and they want a reward.
Gosh, it resonates so much with
Mm,
things that all of us can understand. We're either personally
mm.
navigating that or we know exactly. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
hitting the nail
yeah,
on the head.
yeah.
That makes so much sense, but you know the way out and that there's a better way. You don't
Yes.
have to be experiencing
Mm, mm,
that. Mm.
no.
And so it makes so much sense, all those reasons why overdrinking happens. And so no doubt, this time of year, there's a couple of times of year where people have cultural,
Yeah.
awareness weeks and things to Dry July, this and that and the
Mm,
other. Don't even know if those do any good out there in the community, but you're
mm,
certainly doing a lot in the next or now onwards, aren't you?
mm,
And through your
mm.
program.
Yeah, so I do a course. I sort of run it parallel with Feb Fast, Dry July and
Mm.
October, but I call it something more fun and you don't have to completely stop. And it's just a small women's group. Plus, I do my one-on-one coaching, 1 month, one goal to change your drinking. And I do a beautiful 3 month coaching for where we can get really deep. And it's not just about the drinking, we can have
Mm.
time to really discover who you are and where you want to go.
Mm.
But yet culturally, as
Mm.
you were just saying, we're so conditioned. And like you just said, Christmas, everyone sort of, all the Christmas parties, you're expected to have a drink. It's Christmas cheer. It's
Oh,
subconscious as well. It's subconsciously there. Like you might be driving past, and there's the happy hour, or there's a Palmer and a beer, pubs, Palmer
yeah.
and beer night. And particularly airports. Airports can trigger women or people, I assume,
Mm.
because you're going on a holiday or you're saying goodbye. And so you'll have a drink at the airport, you'll have a drink on the plane, you'll have a drink when you get there. A welcome drink is
Oh my
often
gosh.
and you don't even think about it, but
Yeah.
it's constantly in our face. And even
It's just numbing
yeah,
constantly.
yeah. And even like when I create PDFs and, worksheets, what have
Mm.
you, for women, I love to put some pictures in it, uplifting, etc. And I'll get on Pinterest and I'll Google women celebrating, women happy. And there's a lot of pictures there with women happy with all this champagne. Exactly. But what I think's funny is we don't see the pictures the next day.
And the
So
damage,
yeah,
the
exactly.
conversations that shouldn't have happened and the things that were
Yeah,
done. Oh,
yeah,
and
yeah.
there's more. And I know that this is probably sounding like a negative Nancy, but I mean, it's true when, as you were saying, when it wasn't working for you, like it's just too
Mm,
much and you're
mm.
prioritizing it as number one. And it's such a trap. And this cultural aspect of how it's so
Yes.
and encouraged is the trap, where I'd rather we got curious, because I'm such a huge fan of meditation, and
Mm,
meditation helps us so much in life. And what that is getting
mm.
curious, isn't it, about what's going on
Exactly.
inside?
Yeah. And that's what I found. I found that with when I stopped drinking, I found journaling again. I found
Yep.
lots of things because they work. Gratitude, it works. And women, and I was one of them. When I meditation, I can't, you often hear, I can't meditate, I can't, but you can, because meditation can be, going for a gentle walk,
Absolutely. It's just
without
that
your
awareness.
phone. Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
and
it doesn't have to be that whole image of us humming with a,
oh,
crossed
yeah,
legs, and
yeah,
because it isn't for me, I can't
probably
even
not
cross
going
my
to happen.
legs.
No. And
So,
it's just that wonderful thing, as you say, of being out walking and being mindful and present.
mm.
And it's like alcohol takes that gift away from us. It
Well, it
separates
takes the
us from
next
it.
day away from us.
Yeah, yeah,
I was
absolutely.
I was on another podcast this morning,
Mm.
and there's a meme that I'm going to put up on my Instagram, and it's of a waiter saying, "What can I get you? A glass of wine or a good night's sleep? Because you can't have both." It's true.
It is so true. On
It's
Saturday night, a girlfriend was just talking about that, and she'd woken up at 1:15 or something like
mm,
that. I'm thinking, what a nightmare.
mm,
And
mm,
yeah, it's
mm.
not worth it, I guess.
No,
Is
it's not. And I think as women in midlife, you've really got to look at it in that with your health, and we don't metabolize it as well as men, particularly as we get older. It's
Mm,
scientifically proven
yeah,
that. And it doesn't help with menopause at all. It doesn't help
mm,
with depression, anxiety. It just makes it all worse.
yeah.
And when we have got all this stuff going on, it's probably not the best option to reach out for.
And so, with alcohol, the reasons to reconsider and change
Mm,
our relationship with it, you're going to potentially lose the next day. You're
mm,
going to disempower yourself because you certainly can't drive when you've been drinking, and
mm,
you can't really communicate and think. And we go out of that organizing part of the brain, don't we? We're into
mm,
whatever other
mm.
part, or maybe nothing, and
Numb.
all those health things. But I remember talking to you about a cancer connection.
There's a big link. There's a big link. And the US General
Yep.
Surgeon, he just brought out a couple of weeks ago how alcohol is a big contributor to cancer.
Yeah. So if
Um,
anyone needs a motivating
that's
reason.
another reason. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
And I think
mm,
people laugh it off. Like they don't laugh it off when it's cigarettes or cocaine or whatever.
yeah.
But it's been named the number one carcinogenic.
Yeah.
Alcohol is a number one carcinogenic.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I love the way that you've walked the path and you really know what it's like in the darkness and
Mm,
on the other side, and
mm,
that people can work with you one-on-one or in your program or in the longer coaching. And
mm.
it's called Fresh Start Feb for this current enrollment,
Yeah, this
and
one.
Get Your Sober Sparkle.
Yeah.
And that's such a beautiful name because sparkle is exactly what it gives you back, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Inside and out. I was saying to a girlfriend, well, actually, again on this podcast, there's a lot of beauty benefits too, ladies, because probably 1 month into stopping drinking, 1 month, maybe 6 weeks, I had people coming up to me going, God, your skin looks good. Have you been off going having some work done? And your eyes are so sparkly. But it was all from not drinking. It can
Wow.
Just think about
Wow.
it dehydrates your skin, it makes you puffy. Sometimes you're a bit too drunk that you can't be bothered taking your makeup off, so you
Yep.
sleep with your makeup on. There's so many things when
Yep.
you take a good hard look at it. Mm.
Oh, and do you have anything else that you'd like to add in terms of what you've heard from other people, what maybe some of their turning points have been? Because you've mentioned about like the life stages people can be at where they might have been in a marriage for a long time and
Mm.
having just a bit of a struggle there, and maybe there's boredom around if it's work or other aspects of life, and there's other reasons why they're drinking. Is there anything that you'd like to add about what some of the, I guess, signs can be that people maybe shouldn't ignore?
Yeah, definitely. If you're interested in sober curiosity, it means you probably know you need to take a deeper look.
Yep.
If you're waking up feeling lackluster and sort of brushing that under the carpet, it's time to address it. But with some women that I've had, and I was the same, I was just sick of it.
Yep.
I was just sick of this constant loop, merry-go-round of working, coming home straight away, 5 o'clock, pouring the wine, drinking more and more, numbing out, going to bed, forgetting what I watched on TV, forgetting if I picked a stupid little fight with my husband, waking up
Yep.
at 3 a.m. thinking, God, how much did I drink? I hope I'm not hungover tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. And it all starts again. And then you swear you're
Wow.
never going to drink again. And of course, by just after lunch, the other thoughts start creeping in. So it's mainly, when you've just had enough.
And can it be habitual for some people, or is
Oh,
it more
definitely.
related to a bit of a disease, or how would
Oh,
you,
for me, it was
your understanding?
habitual. Yeah, definitely.
Mm.
Definitely. It was just this habit that I'd fallen into and couldn't get out of. But then I'd had enough. And I'm so glad that it's talked about so much more now, even in the 2 years that I've been sober.
Mm.
There's a great big sober community out there. There's coaches like myself. There's so many podcasts. There's books. It's known as Quit Lit. And there's some fantastic books by women. And what I loved was, as I'm reading these books or listening to these podcasts, it's like, oh, that's so me. That's me. Oh, that is so me. So you're not alone.
Oh, I love that. Absolutely.
Mm, mm.
Yeah. And I buy alcohol that is zero alcohol,
Yes.
and
Oh, that
people
is
laugh
so
at
good.
me.
Yeah, the options in that just continue to grow. They're beautiful. My husband and I were in Sydney, as you know, and we went to Bill's restaurant in Double Bay,
Yeah.
and we had, because he's not drinking, that's another story, but he's not drinking now. No pressure from me. And we had these two beautiful cocktails or
Yeah.
mocktails.
Mocktails.
But it was beautiful, refreshing. We had a lovely time. We connected. We tasted our meal. We went home. We were
Yeah.
clear-headed and had a good night's sleep.
Yes. Ah, perfect. And
Mm,
it's something that others just have to get used to, isn't it? That it's okay to still want
mm.
to have like a wine or a mocktail or something and be in the festive
Yeah,
things,
of
Christmas,
course.
but know that when you're driving, there's no question
Yeah,
about whether you're okay to
yeah.
drive or, all of that.
You don't have to feel like the odd one out because you've got a glass of Diet Coke or a sparkling water. There's lots and lots of options.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, if you want to have that Diet Coke, it's how other people treat you too. You sort of get to know your friends a bit more because you'll
Yes.
get women and friends that'll say, "Oh, come on, you haven't got a problem, just have one." And you need to let them know, well, no, I'm having a rest from it. Never say you've given up forever because they'll just keep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's good
so I'm
advice.
having a rest. I'm having a 30-day challenge.
Yeah.
You know, I'm the driver. There's lots of things you can say. But like you said, like there's so many alcohol-free options now, so you don't have to feel like you've got three heads and, you're a weirdo, which is so silly, and it is getting better. But if you say you're giving up smoking, you say you're giving up sugar, if you snorted cocaine and you're giving up cocaine, everyone's like, oh, good on you, and da da da. But when you say no, I won't have a drink, oh, come on, you'll have one. Come on, don't be a wuss and don't be this. So yeah, it's
It's all
interesting.
ringing so true. And it just makes me cringe that you're
Mm,
so right that people will say, oh, yeah, come on,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
don't be a party pooper.
yeah. Come on, don't be boring.
Yes,
But I tell you what, after they've had 3 or 4 drinks, you just want to get out of there because they are the boring ones, repetitive, and yeah,
absolutely.
you sneak out because they won't know anyway.
Yeah. Oh, and so have you got any other thoughts that you'd like to share with us about how people can find out more about you? I'll share your website at belindastark.com. Is it .com?
Yeah,
.au?
just
Yeah,
.com.
yeah.
Yeah. And we can approach this and attack this light-hearted and happy. So yeah, that's how people can contact me.
Fantastic. And you're such an inspiration. What do
Thank you.
you hope for midlife women? What would you like to see the impact of this work be of sober community?
I would just love for midlife women to love themselves, believe in themselves, don't think that they're old or fat or any of that, to do what they want to do. It's one of the best times of our life, and we've only got one life. So let's let's give it
Oh,
a good crack and do what we want to do.
oh, goosebumps. That's just incredible to think of all those ripples of empowerment going out there with
Mm,
your tips and things just to open up to the idea and then to dive in.
mm,
So I
mm.
really hope that this message will reach lots and lots of women who are knowing that it's time for a change, but maybe fighting that thought a little bit or that feeling.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
thank you so much for being here today.
thank you. Thank you for having me. It's lovely to have a chat.